first term. Tommy Thompson now works for Verichip. So he's working for the company, Verichip, who is going to be probably responsible for the mark of the beast. Okay? History reveals in the past 3,500 years there has only been about 230 years of peace throughout the world. That's not too good. Since the formation of the United Nations in 1945, which was set up on the premise of ensuring everlasting peace, there has never been a moment of peace. Iran is accelerating its nuclear program, and the U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice continues to threaten Iran and to warn them that they do not have much time. The whole Middle East is getting ready to explode. The entire Muslim world is becoming more and more agitated. It is interesting to note that the four horses of Revelation are white, red, black, and green. The word pale is also taken from the Greek word koloros, or pale green. These four colors are found in the seven flags of the Arab nations: Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Sudan, Syria, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. These colors are said to stand for Arab unity. These and other Muslim nations are looking on amazement as the U.S. military personnel intentionally butcher innocent civilians, including women and children. And this is going on. Our military personnel are butchering women and children over there. I've seen a lot of reports that aren't making it to the nightly news. British newspapers have photographic evidence of numerous such events. CNN reported on May 20th that according to the Associated Press, hundreds of soldiers that are known to be mentally ill are being sent to Iraq. Isn't that great? They're nuts in the head. Now, our government, our country is so satanic at this point. Why would you want to be in the military? I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're working side by side with an evil satanic force, don't you think it may influence you toward evil in the end? I think so. Of the British Army who have been deployed to Iraq, a whopping 8,600 troops, the equivalent of 1 1/2 infantry battalions, have gone absent without leave since 2003. 8,600 troops from the British people alone have went what they call AWOL? Why is that? 1,000 of them are still on the run. That's unbelievable. I never heard anything like that in a war. They're refusing to fight in this insane war. And speaking of insanity and double cross, an Australian newspaper reported May 13th, 2006, that the Pentagon has secretly shipped tens of thousands of small weapons from Bosnia to Iraq in the past 2 years using a web of private companies. Okay, so the Pentagon has secretly shipped tens of thousands of small weapons from Bosnia to then Iraq in the past 2 years. Why would they want to do that? Amnesty International has reported that at least 200,000 Kalashnikov rifles, assault rifles, left Bosnia for Iraq with the stated intent that they were for the new Iraqi government army. But they did not receive them, and no one seems to know what happened to the weapons. Meanwhile, the insurgent Iraqis grow stronger. It would not be the first time we supplied our own enemies while we are fighting them. Happens in every single war. Every single war. Remember Vietnam, when the same Standard Oil Company trucks came out to Hanoi to supply both fuel for both sides? Standard Oil. Do it all the time. That's why they create wars. Order out of chaos is the munitions and all of the unbelievable profiteering that's made on wars by these elite globalist, satanic, straight from the pit of hell elite. They feed both sides of the war machine. They feed both sides and they make a killing. And people are killed, which to them are sacrifices to Satan. People that die in war, to them, are sacrifices toward their god, Satan. So they're supplying both sides, getting rich in the process, and a whole bunch of people are dying. And they're using that to basically bring about ultimate control of given populations and things like that, because that's what war always brings about. Controlled chaos brings about control in the very end.
The Bush family were Hitler's bankers.
Well, yeah, the Bush family were Hitler's bankers. So, Prescott Bush's his grandfather, I guess, he was good buddies with the communistic Russians and a lot of the Arm and Hammer and a lot of the people that were communists. And it's two sides of the same slimy coin these people are working on. They make you think that we're Democrat and we're Republican, and it's not. It's a lie. That's a diversion for everybody to believe, oh, it's Democrat versus Republican. It's not. They're all on the same side. They just want you to think they're against one another, because it gets you something to focus on. Oh, it's Democrat, it's Republican. And meanwhile, they're railroading all this legislation through. And the Satan's laughing. He thinks it's hilarious. Here in the United States, strange things are happening on... Oh, no, hold on. Let me see here. Okay, yeah. On Monday, June 19th, there was 13 days after 666, 4,000 federal workers from more than 50 agencies will be going to classified emergency facilities stretching from Maryland to Virginia suburbs in the foothills of the Allegheny Mountains. They are taking to the underground bunkers in an evacuation drill that is described as, quote, the largest continuity of government exercise ever conducted. A drill intended to prepare U.S. government for an event even more catastrophic than September 11th attacks. When I saw this, I was reminded of Revelation 6:15 through 17, which reads, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of them that sitteth of him that sitteth on the throne, and the wrath of the Lamb, from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" Bible prophecy is being fulfilled before our very eyes. Let it here be noted that Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert made a speech before U.S. Congress on May 24, 2006, 13 days before 666. Olmert received standing ovations in occult numerology. Olmert received 18 standing ovations. Now, in occult numerology, 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6, the number of the beast. Furthermore, the date 666 is exactly 39 years to the day from the Six-Day War, when Old Jerusalem was captured by the Israelis in 1967. The number 39 is the occult number of the triple 13, which is the triumphal occult power. It is also interesting to note that Mr. Olmert stated that his country is willing to divide Jerusalem. Now, I said all that to say that. The statement reminded me of Revelation 16:19, which came and says, "And the great city was divided in 3 parts. And the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her cup and the wine of the fierceness of his wrath." Okay, so, as the time of the Lord Jesus draws ever near, we who are true Christians understand that the oppressiveness of the beast system of the Antichrist also increases. We do not fear, however, because our victory is certain. Revelation 12:11 through 12 tells us of this great victory. "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he hath known that he hath but a short time." That's why he's doing all this. He knows he's got a short time. He's got to do something. "We have now learned that the United Nations is working to make homeschooling illegal in America." And I put out an email on this, a whole email. Michael Ferris, chairman of the General Council of Homeschool Legal Defense Association, stated that the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child could be binding on the people of the United States. Currently, the United States is virtually the only nation in the world where this United Nations treaty is not yet binding. Article 13 of this treaty subjects parents to prosecution if they attempt to prevent their children from interacting with any material that parents deem objectionable. So in other words, they have the right to brainwash your kids and you can't do a thing about it. Article 14 of this treaty allows children to object to any religious training. Article 15 allows children the right to associate with any person, even if the parents object. We know that the Almighty has the final word regarding this. We also know that March 7th, President George Bush signed an executive order to establish a Center for Faith-Based and Community Initiatives